This video is designed for 5D and 5D Plus teacher evaluation users and their teachers. In this particular video, we will show how teachers can complete the first step of the inquiry cycle, which is the self-assessment. First, log in as a teacher. Once I am logged in, it will take me to this main screen. I want to make sure that I click on the Evaluations tab. And once I've clicked on the Evaluations tab, I'll notice this button that says New Self-Assessment, which I will click. For this self-assessment, I'll be assessing myself on the 5D Plus Teacher Evaluation rubric. I'm going to self-assess myself on all dimensions from which I'll be evaluated on at the end of the school year. For the purpose of this video, in this year, I will be evaluated on student engagement, classroom environment and culture, and professional collaboration and communication. Once I've selected the dimensions, I will click Begin. In an ideal situation, I would have had the opportunity to record myself teaching a lesson or multiple lessons for about 15 minutes of instruction. At that point, I would actually have the video and be prepared to collect evidence of my teaching practice. Once I had the video queued up, I would come over here to Collect Evidence and click the tab. As I watched the video of my instruction, I would come to this particular box here, and I would be collecting all observation evidence from what I see in my instruction. I'm looking for the things that I'm saying and doing, the things that students are saying and doing, and the role of students in the lesson, and I'm also looking to capture what types of tasks or activities students are engaged in. As I watch the video of my instruction, I now begin to collect evidence of what I observe. While observing, as I collect a particular set of evidence, I will press the Enter button, and you'll notice that my first script comes over here. I will then continue to collect my evidence, pressing the Enter button for each piece of new script. As you'll notice over here, you'll see multiple scripts show up as I have collected multiple pieces of evidence from my observation of my lesson. Once I've collected evidence for approximately 15 minutes of instruction, it's now time for me to code my evidence. I will then highlight the Code Evidence tab. In order to attach codes to a particular script, I would highlight the script by clicking on it on this side, and I decide which indicators does this script provide evidence for. I then make sure that I select the indicators that this particular piece of script provides evidence for. Once I have gone through all of my scripts and coded them with the appropriate evidence, I am now ready to complete my self-assessment. I would then click on the Dimensions tab. As you see, any scripts that I've taken for each of the indicators show up here in the scripting notes. It provides me with an anchor for which to base my self-assessment. As a point of clarification, if I did not use Pivot to upload evidence of my instructional practice, I can still use the self-assessment by putting anecdotal evidence about my practice in the observation comments box. In either case, I will always start at the basic level. As I review my evidence here for SE1, I ask myself, do I occasionally ask questions to probe and deepen students' understanding or uncover misconceptions? Essentially, do I meet all of the criteria for the basic level? Once I determine that I do meet that criteria, I now move to the proficient level. Once I've selected proficient, I'll see that the proficient performance language reads right here to the right. I notice that the word frequently appears, and I have to look to my evidence and ask myself, do I frequently ask questions to probe and deepen students' understanding or uncover misconceptions? And also, the additional element of, do I assist students in clarifying their thinking with one another? As I look at the performance language for the proficient level, I recognize that I have evidence to support all aspects of this performance level. Therefore, I look to the distinguished level to see the next level of practice. When reviewing the performance language for the distinguished level, I realize that I do not have students questioning one another to probe for deeper thinking. Once I've determined that I am at the proficient level, I need to click the Select button next to the proficient category. You'll see that the color changes as well as the check mark that appears on the left column. Once I have completed that, I move to the next indicator by pushing the Next button. In my observation comments, it would be helpful for me to understand which evidence needs to be present in order for me to move to the next performance level. Here, I see that students question one another to probe for deeper thinking is an element that I'm missing in my instruction. Therefore, if I select this button here, it will add the language for that performance level into my observations comments. Here, I simply type what elements of my practice need to be evident in order to meet the distinguished level. As you can see here, I have added that I will be working with students on questioning one another to probe for deeper thinking. This helps me anchor my practice in the rubric and provides me with information that may help in the future as I develop areas of focus. Now you will see that I have evidence from my script for SE2, and I will continue the same process by starting at the basic level and moving forward. If at any point I need to stop my self-assessment, I can always click the Save and Return button, and I would be able to return to my self-assessment at a later time. Once I have completed a self-assessment for each dimension for which I'll be evaluated at the end of the year, a button shows up that says Review Observation. I will click that button. As I review my observation, I have the opportunity to hide my comments. I also may hide my evidence if I want to get a very clean view of my self-assessment. If I'd like to show comments or show my evidence, I certainly can do that here. At the bottom of my self-assessment, I have several options. I could save it and then return to it at a later time. I could also print if I'm interested in saving it as a PDF or printing to a local printer. And lastly, I can finalize my self-assessment. Once I finalize my self-assessment, it will be submitted to my administrator for review.